about blown off myself. Just about blown off myself. Let me jack this down a little bit now. I want to get a picture of taking that fog up out of there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Good timing.
They even staged the scene for you there.
That's right. They did good.
I didn't know you had this much spot.
Well, you never know. Never know. We have some more coming. Are you all in, or?
No, they're
Okay,
coming.
wait.
Can I just dink around with
Sure,
the
help yourself.
on here?
You bet. Now, the CCB has been approved to remove the 250, so all you'll have is a 90.
Okay.
And that's all we brought today was a
Just
90
out of
for you.
curiosity.
It's nice today.
Last time I was up here, there weren't as many buildings out of
I know. They just keep growing.
IBM building.
When we started this, I was documenting all that. We used to come up here and shoot it for resolution. We just shoot those grates over there. And boy, when it was out, you could really tell it on those grates.
Can I get trained?
We've got sophisticated. Yeah, help yourself. If you need help, I'm going to let you do it.
Viewfinder set.
Yeah.
F-stop. Shutter speed. What film you got in here, James?
That is the 5017. That's ASA 64.
You know, the one place I was thinking it might be worth, I'm not even sure you would need to change the focus on this thing, but with the telescope up at appendage deploy, I'm thinking the 90 could be a pretty good shot.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
as we separate
Would be
away,
fantastic.
Lauren, how far, how long is it till we're up about, just coming up on 90 above and we're looking at the telescope down against the Earth?
It's going to be
that'd be the other good place for
25 to 30 minutes transition time up to almost directly above.
That'd be the other sequence once we're about 100 feet or so back, and starting with a
You know, but I bet you infinity is still fine for that. And
Well, that's
we'll
what I
look
was
at the depth of field, and if you're going to
against Earthshine, it's going to be at least F11.
Oh yeah.
So
I bet you that I'll have to pull out the books, but I think infinity's still going to be all right for that.
now we'll go into.
I'll talk to Jeff and get him to, give you a setting
we may
for
be
that.
going just towards the Terminator, just getting right towards the Terminator, about that 20 or 25 minute point, depending where we release, where we actually get it released compared to orbit neutral. Yeah, with this amount of fog,
Now you're going to have.
I'd go to F11.
Did you put thick base in this one? Good. Okay. Because we don't have a whole lot of thin base, but you will have the thin base in yours, which will give you 270 or somewhere thereabouts, so you should have plenty of film. And I've got the gel filter holders ordered for the Nikon. The 180 f2.8 seems to be a real good lens. It's relatively fast, and you still get some magnification on it.
What was that?
It's a 180 millimeter f2.8. You can. That's no good. It'll go in a photo bag without any trouble. We can just add it. It's not a big deal. Okay.
We did not intend to have it. I guess we would have used it too.
Sandy's full. That's about the size tripod you got to have with that big a camera.
LBJ needed his technical rationale, which was the access to deep draft barge channel.
I think that's the only time we've used it, isn't it?
That stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the only time we've used it too.
Yeah, it's the only two times.
Yeah. I remember the day they floated that in. I think I came down to see it when they brought it in.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure the park was in here.
Oh,
The little bit of it I can see. Yeah.
It's kind of hidden.
How many are we supposed to take? A couple?
Yeah, 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay.
I think there's enough for about 6 or 8 of everybody.
Well, I'm gonna take my 6.
There, go ahead.
11-6.
tell me what it is. Okay. We'll try that.
Oh, we're about Pecos all the way to New Orleans.
I think it's
With that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. Fantastic. And the funny part was that you can tell distinctively where the Balcones Escarpment is, and you can fly over it and can't even see it. But for some reason, I think it's vegetation more than anything. You can tell right where that sucker is. No, you got the parallax get you there.
Now see, where'd you shoot? Because I just got 8 again.
No, I got take the little circle and make sure it's clear of the roof. And just line it up on the dark part of the South Shore Harbor. Yeah.
3.0. Right in the corner window there. Do it again.
Okay.
You keep it. What are we looking at? What am I not doing?
I think you're getting either some sunlight, some
Now,
sky
if
in
I
there.
take it
or-
up into the, if I take it up to the clouds, I get
Yeah,
8. I get 5.6.
Oh, I wasn't doing that. I was just lining right up on the side of the building there.
I wonder if we're looking at the same building.
The South Shore Harbor. It's the only big building over there.
Oh, okay.
The hotel.
I got it right in the green windows in the corner. The circle around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going lower so that I tried to get the
You
bottom,
may be
the
getting,
bottom of the
some
circle.
If I go down
reflection
in the
off of that
marina.
window.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure hope we get some nice pictures with it.
Yeah. Oh, you will. I guarantee you. You stick it out the window, you'll get nice pictures with it. It's
Pointed
it's
out the
fantastic.
And we got what, two magazines?
Yeah.
Two magazines.
You'll have 2, and they'll have about 270 exposures each. So you got plenty of film. Just take pictures. Don't worry about whether you should take it or not. Just take them, because you should have plenty of film.
Did I hear you saying something about a filter for this?
No,
Not for
No,
this.
no, we're talking about a
For the,
different
for the
subject.
Nikon.
For the Nikon, we got a couple of
I
gel
didn't-
filters.
I didn't remember one from last
No,
time.
there's a haze filter on there, but you don't have to do anything with it. It just keeps the lens clean. It's the only reason it's
Okay.
on there. Spacecraft windows is a good enough haze filter, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, well, I'll have these processed, and I'll get them to Judy, and she'll bring them and show them to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you for coming over.
Okay. Thank you.
If you need another session or anything,
Okay.
give me a
Thanks
holler.
very
We'll
much.
set it up again.
Okay. How about one on the top of Mauna Loa?
That'd be nice. I don't know whether NASA will pay my way there or not, though.
Oh, you can work that job really good.
Yeah, primarily because it was, 7th, 8th, 9th magnitude stars are what typically you have accurate positions for because they're easy and there's enough of them and it's straightforward to do.
Okay. 16 millimeter class. It's the same as the 35. I'm going to go over DNC and we'll put it together and we'll pretend like we're going to take pictures. And the last thing we do is film loading because it's kind of complicated. So the very last thing is film loading. If you want to load it, it's fine. I'll load it first. If you don't want to load it or you want to wait till you go home and check one out, that's what you do. First, you're going to start in the generic checklist. If you haven't looked at a photo TV checklist in a long time, here now we have flight specific book and a generic book. The malfunctions are here, and on the 16 stuff, this camera does great. So there's a few things in here where with the hardware problems instead of operator errors. And we've tried to put malfunctions right close to the picture so you can take it. It's pretty straightforward. The 16 millimeter camera is not exactly your Instamatic, and people just get a little bit more confused on this one.
Were you here in the days of the DAC cameras?
Yeah, that's right.
This is an Instamatic.
Yeah, that is atrocious. Anyway, that's all there is in this book. There's the same thing, malfunction and pictures for all the systems that we have. Anything that flies pretty often and is in our inventory is in here, like the intervalometer, spot meter, stuff of that sort, in the same sort of section in the flight supplement. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Also, there isn't a workbook on this camera yet; it's still in ordinance, but I did bring you a 35 workbook and 70 workbook. You can go ahead and start reading, although they're out of 70s. I got 3 of them before we get into that time. Okay, I've taken off all the attachments to this camera so we can just start from scratch here. Set it 45 degrees with a cutout in it like a pie, and it turns. So 1 minute you're viewing, 1 minute it's taking a picture, 1 minute you're viewing, 1 minute you're taking a picture.
Pretty slow firmly.
If you look in here, you can see the mirror turning around inside that thing. Okay. And actually, you can see some flicker if you're looking, but most of the time you just forget that's even happening. So that's how it's through the lens. Just the diopter there, Steve, and watch the screen get sharp and not so sharp.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay. The other thing is, the mirror turns. Well, when you turn the camera off, it always continues as much as it needs to put the mirror in the viewing position. If you pick up a camera and somebody's been messing with it, or the battery was dead during shooting, you can't see through it, your mirror is just not adjusted. To get it back to the right position, you can physically turn it, or put a fresh battery on there, turn the camera on, and then off, and it'll reposition that down. But most of the time, it's going to be in a proper position. It's pretty heavy as you get all this stuff on there, and then you put film in there. The camera in the bag and everything's about 30 pounds at 9 in the morning, and it's about 100 at 4 o'clock. Changes.
Actually, it starts at 100 at 7 and it goes to a low at 9 and it goes back up through the day.
Techniques for...
Why aren't I gonna get to run here?
Okay, are we in standby?
Yeah.
Standby run?
Yeah, but
There you have it.
Just
I
walks
didn't
off.
see it move, but maybe it did.
Malfunction number 1.
You didn't have DAX, I don't think.
No, it was gone.
So I got to actually do both of them on one flight. It was night and day. It was a pain to use the DAX.
Out of line on the battery capabilities. And with the day 6,
Oh, we got another left eye
day
push.
7 EVA, we didn't get any EVA on.
Attach the lens, which has the automatic motor and
Yeah,
all that
so
good
it's
stuff.
not coupling these.
So, then,
And the exposure LED is coming from the same thing, right?
that's not an exposure LED. You mean the little red light?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a red light in there, your finder, and it's a motor speed light. Okay, when you first
Oh,
turn
I
the
got
camera on,
yeah.
it should come
It's just
on
the
and then go
transients.
off.
Yeah.
And when you turn the camera off, it should actually blink as you can.
Yeah.
That means that the motor's not up to 24 frames a second yet, and it gets up there real quick. If you have a bad battery, that light can stay on constantly, and it tells you you have a bad battery, and therefore your motor speed is dropping.
But if you hit it and lock it down,
The
you
light
see that
will go
goes
out.
out within
If that light
second
doesn't
or
go
so.
out, there's something wrong.
you're off speed.
And it could be because you have a film drag.
I thought
It
it was
could
a run
be
light.
that you have a bad battery.
It's a run but not so fast
So-
light.
Anyway, okay, so now let's see. We've put the camera together. We've adjusted the diopter. We've put a battery on. We've attached the magazine and a hand grip. We know how to do all that. The next thing we're going to talk about is lenses. And this system has 2 lenses. And the lenses are quite different. Some people like one, some people like the other. You remember I told you yesterday about wide angle lenses with no focusing? Okay, this is one right here. This lens is a 5.9. It's extremely wide angle. Only control on this is aperture. Now there's pros and cons. Even focus is really easy with this lens. Just point and shoot. But there's no auto. Your needle goes. So it goes like this. Down, you're overexposed. Why they did that, I don't know. If it's up, it's underexposed.
backwards. You throw in
Light
your
tube
wires
doors,
off.
man.
Crazy. But anyway, if you use a 5.9, focus is real easy, but exposure is not real easy. So you have to constantly adjust here. Now, if you're in the mid-deck, once you adjust it, it's pretty much going to be the same no matter what you shoot. But on a flight deck with windows and stuff like that, it gets a little bit more tricky. Say, here's my metering. Get your metering right, and then you can run. No focus involved whatsoever. So I'd like to pass that around and have you operate the meter. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about this other lens. The zoom lens is extremely popular. First off, I'm taking the orange filter off. And what in the heck is this orange filter for? The strange thing that we do is that we fly tungsten film, okay? So if we shoot daylight, we have to color correct it. Makes sense. Also, with this zoom lens, our smallest aperture is f/16, okay? Well, we have 148, so we're overexposing. So not only is this color correction, but it's sunglasses. And it cuts down, has a neutral density, and it's still pretty good exposure. Obviously, if you were to come into the cabin, you would want to take this off, because almost all of the cabin photography is wide open. There's just not much light in there. Unless you have lots of sunshine streaming in, you need all the light you can get. So you always take this off for inside. These, so you can say, well, put it on, go outside, or off. These are sunglasses with macro. Okay, so you focus, and then you have your zoom ring here. If you want to go into macro, push the macro button, and you're in macro. If you want to get back out of macro, push the macro button, and you're back out of macro. The normal area is the normal zoom range and focus. You would only go into macro if you had something really special. We'll talk about that when you get the camera in your hand. The aperture ring is a little bit strange in that it moves from f/16 to f2. But if you push this button, I can go into auto. So I'm in auto exposure. And so I don't have to adjust exposure at all. The camera takes care of that. All I do is zoom and focus. It's real easy. And as soon as we get through looking at the camera, we'll attach this and talk about that.
The manual exposure on that again is a sort of fly from. If it shows a plus, it means you should.
Plus and down.
Okay, if it shows a plus, it means it needs more light. Open up.
It means you are overexposed. It's the situation that you are. It doesn't tell you what to do. It tells you
Excessive light.
Yes, ma'am. You know, the breezy amount of light coming in, overexposed is down and underexposed is over. So with that lens, as you adjust the aperture, you're going to get the needle right in the center. If you point the camera up at the light, the needle should drop to the overexposed area, and then you readjust for that. You'll play with that. Inside the finder, you see some areas, TV safe areas. You know, when they take this film stuff, they transfer it to video. So you want to keep your image within these little lines here. That's your TV safe area. The problem with the 5.9 lens, and one of the major problems we have, is putting it on, you get palm tracks. It's so close there. So once you put it on, you can just do a lens cleaning. The lens cleaning kits that we fly.
There's a caption for that one. I know there's a star up there. I know there is.
What we thought we'd do is not really concentrate on the specifics of the camera for fear of getting into kind of negative training situations. So if you just bear with us, we've got the real objective, both in this session and the bit one in Building 9, is for you to take some pictures that we can go into the theater and look at. So we won't talk too much about equipment, we'll talk a bit about photography. So I turn it over to James and David to help them and charge on ahead.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the tripod, since that's going to be your zero-G simulator for the day. And we've got two controls on the pan and tilt. If you want to tilt it, we have a lock here, and that just will lock it wherever you want to put it. And then we have the pan lock in the front, the same sort of lever right in the front. So anytime you want to move the camera, just unlock those and put it wherever you want it, and lock them back and stay right there. And so we'll go through all four of those today. We'll talk some about exposure, how to use the light meter out here, and be able to relate that to what the film is going to record, and the sort of range of values you'll be able to record. And of course, if we're shooting some, and we'll compare lenses when you see things in the sun, since that's apparently you're going to be looking a lot into the sun with HST. So we want to get you familiar with what the different lenses will do in that situation, and we got a pretty good contrast range going over here with the Saturn V. So that's some of the things we'll be doing out here today, and then we'll go on into the CCT later in the afternoon and do some interior. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Douglas?
Oh, I'm just going to pipe in once in a while.
Keep the action, the main action in the IMAX when you're shooting with this. So you try to keep it in the really down in the low part of the frame. Otherwise, you got people having to look around and strain their neck to see what's going on.
If you can, yes, if you can. That's exactly.
If you have a chance to do that.
If you got that choice, you can do it. Yeah. Generally speaking, if you keep things in the more in the center part and not too high up, that's a kind of a good ground, a good rule of thumb for almost anything. But lots of shots where you got no choice. You're going to fill the frame. Well, our normal pattern has been for everybody to take at least one, and if possible, two shots, I think, while you're here. Why don't we try for everybody taking two? Think about a shot you'd like to take here, wherever. We can move the camera to wherever you want, and think of a couple of different lenses. One shot with one lens, another shot with another, and we'll try to move it around and give everybody two turns to shoot something. So you choose you just look around and find something you'd like to shoot.
So what you'll want to do is probably zoom this in if it's not zoomed in.
Everybody will find that little switch, that's for sure. Shutter switch.
Yes. Kind of need to do that.
What's this knob again here? Okay, that knob is moving a little element group in here. On the flight camera, you're actually pushing on this lever, which is attached to the element group, but we couldn't get that finder with us.
He asked the guy that wears glasses. It looks focused to me.
So what you want to do is
the lines are supposed to be crisp,
you want to rotate
right?
this.
See, I haven't bothered his adjustment because if the black lines are crisp.
Yeah, are you zoomed in with
like,
the finder?
I'm zoomed in. Yeah, and I can see little furry. You know, when I say they're crisp.
Yeah. Furry what? Creature?
Little furry creature.
Hairy-legged little. Okay, so
I would not bother it. I would leave it there.
So now you're in a position to decide whether or not the lens is in focus.
Okay.
You don't like playing hyperfocal distance game?
Well, we'll go into that a bit later too. What in fact you can do is if you focus about,
shoot it, and then we can all vote on it. And you guys are going to go change it.
Yeah.
So you get repetitive practice.
But Graham's being interviewed, Phyllis is in the background, and she's the governor of the state of Texas or something, so we want to make sure and we can care less about this rocket.
This lens, once you get it past F8, though, everything is pretty hard to mess up.
That's the other thing. You want to set your lens up and set your frame and do your focusing with the lens wide open.
Yeah. F11 on the spot meter.
I don't know, Charlie. That looked pretty good.
But now, see, we didn't change the f-stop.
No, we didn't.
No, it's wide open.
I just wanted to make the point that when you're gonna do this process, that you check that the lens on the camera is wide open, because everything's just way harder if you have less light going through.
I want to close this thing down and just have a look at the difference of looking through there. There's wide open. Now, if you tried to focus like that, see how kind of trouble you'd be in.
Yeah.
And That's 22. Here's 8. That's halfway open, so even at there, it's real difficult to do. So when you first grab it to focus, just make sure it's wide open.
So we're not going to get any quick shots here. Any
Well,
targets of opportunity.
not today.
Is that what you're talking
On orbit.
On orbit.
By the time we're on
By then, you'll be so fast it won't matter.
Okay. 6. What's that say?
Your critical focus is one forward from your right hand there, Bruce.
Well, I need
The little one.
to focus
Yeah.
the eyepiece first.
Yeah.
11.6.
You can use that to zoom in on that little circle.
I was looking at the white, the focus group. But you're exposed for the exterior and just boost what you can if you want some details.
In fact, this shot is very difficult to do for problem because to get a really, in the print they've fudged it a bit because they can work with the print. But on the film, it's always been hard to print it, so you got reasonable blue in the earth and reasonable detail in the cargo.
Mess it up for me, David.
Just a little bit. Be a little bit too wide.
Well, what you need to do is
I don't even know if this is open up or
Yeah.
down. I haven't used this
It's
camera
up.
so
Up is
long.
open. Okay.
We're working on our clear picture now.
I
This is
decided
an
at
example
11
of
was
just
about
about
right.
the ultimate range that you can.
You want to set up wide open.
Stop down enough.
I like it.
The fedora suits you.
Yeah, I think so. I need a.
And when we get to things, you know, there will be a startup checklist for you
It's all right.
on the camera, the power speed, you're connected up, and if the L15 is turned on. Feed slack is what happens
Normally,
is,
I think.
there's a big roll of film here, weighs 10 pounds. Sometimes, like the next guy who shoots after you take this shot, what'll happen probably is there'll be a little extra film. Once the camera stops, that weight will carry around a little bit further. So you're just trying to take the slack out of that, so it doesn't start up and then hit that stop.
6 feet slack.
And it's, I'll put some in there so you can just feel what it's like.
Come around the corner in a little bit.
Don't guard. We don't have one with us because we're in orbit, but his goes right there.
Just a minute. We're back again.
Do you want to be all unlocked on your tilt and your everything? You're all unlocked and ready to go.
Yeah, that's good. That's
James.
Give him a little more room. Ding a ding a ding a ding.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Hurry, Lauren, hurry.
Since Bruce and Kathy are EVA right now, and I want to get the telescope,
Yeah.
then I think I'll go ahead and focus on Bruce. Yeah, it's all the way in, and I've got the thing here.
When you work that magnifier.
Keep them low in the frame.
Okay.
How far up the frame is my head right now?
Your head is right in the middle.
So
Bruce's
that's
head.
pretty high.
Bruce's head is right below the bottom of the T.
There you go, watch the camera.
Very good.